So in the previous episode we did remove the screws from the bare bone itself. Now we will be continuing with the process. We will be applying switch pads, we will remove the stock stabilizers and install new ones. These are the switch pads that I'm talking about. You need to be super careful with these. Do not use nails, anything. You need to use something sharp, which in this case I used a knife, which works phenomenally. I will be demonstrating. I ended up destroying one of them, as you see. This is the method that works best. With the pin set, I just lift it and I apply it on the switch socket itself. The holes are supposed to match with the pin holes basically. Once you do it for the first time, you get the hang of it. It's fairly simple, it's just time consuming, unfortunately. It takes time. We're applying these switch pads on the PCB itself. There are different type of materials also. KB Defense has their own kind. This is non-branded one. So depending on what kind of characteristics and how muted you want the sound to be, you pick that material. There is Poron, for example. Here I just put the switch itself to see if it goes in properly. It does in this case. So I just repeat the procedure here. It's fairly simple. Like I said, just time consuming. You open up a music, something in the background, and you just do this procedure. I took break once in a while when I felt like it, because the moment you apply the switch pad, if you intend to change, it is going to be very difficult to remove it. So pay attention to what you're doing. This is the trick. You don't need to cut anything, just something sharp enough to lift the switch pad itself. And then I remove the switch again. I apply the switch pad, then I check with the switch itself once again. This is done now. I will be flipping the PCB and it's time to remove the screws from the stabilizers itself. 2, 4, 6, 8 of them, as you see. So basically each stabilizer has 2 screws. Something different that I noticed here, they have not used washers, but on the kit that we did end up buying, there's washers. Just gotta make sure that you find the right screw. Do not strip these screws, just be fairly gentle with it. As you see, you can see how much lube they have used. Had to clean that with the alcohol for each of the stabilizers. Since I won't be using the stock ones, we don't need to clean them here. But they have done a phenomenal job of just oiling them up properly. Even to the touch it was so oily. Had to wash my hands multiple times. That's the clicking mechanism that I was seeing for the first time. And we have 2 more to go. Afterwards, another type of film that we only use for the stabilizers. This is from KB Defense. Was struggling to get it out. But once you remove one of them, it gets easier. And here I apply it for the stabilizer itself. Now I will be installing the stabilizers. But before that, you actually need to lube the housing of the stabilizer and the pin itself. This was the most difficult part for me because there is a certain type of hole that it needs to go into. At the same time having dielectric grease. So I did struggle with this part. However, I ended up doing a phenomenal job. It was just extra longer process for me. People are checking on a glass surface or something that is completely flat to make sure that these metal pins are straight enough. Gently I lube, very gently. I did watch a lot of guides for this process, by the way. So I knew what I was doing, it was just for the first time. But this was the most difficult part for me. Because I forgot to film that part. And it's nothing you guys want to see, to be honest. It's just me getting grease all over my hands, and here I have to clean the excess that was on the outer surface. But this keyboard sounds so good. Of course, I ended up testing the each stabilizer to see if we're happy with the sound. Two washers and two golden screws. It's fairly easy to over tighten them also, so just be gentle. Other than that, it's not a difficult process. It's just since you do it for the first time, it takes time getting used to the idea. Gotta make sure that everything is clean here so it looks nice. We install all of the stabilizers. Here I was testing, which I didn't record. I'm sorry about that, guys. I completely forgot. I was just impressed by this keyboard overall, considering I've been using regular Corsair K95 keyboard, which is nothing comparable. And another hideous part, of course. Some type of switch pad that is supposed to sit underneath the switch itself, so it doesn't wobble. Obviously, you know that I applied switch films to the switch itself also. So this build overall took a long time to do it. That's why you're seeing the parts separately, or else it would have been one video. In the beginning, I didn't know how to remove these even. As you see, it's supposed to sit like this. It is basically making sure that the switch doesn't wobble, even though these don't. This is just additional upgrade, I guess. He wanted, it was an honor for me to do it. He also wanted me to change the keycaps from pink to green instead. That's why we have this green resin wrist pad as well. Well, once I do that process, basically, you guys will see the end product. Obviously, I will start showing the pink one first, and then we will move on to the green one. I hope this was an interesting video. Here, I just wanted to share my experience, raw experience, nothing fancy going on. If you liked the video, give a big like, comment, share, do all of that stuff. I'll see you on the next video. Take care of yourselves. Let's go.